Good morning, students. Welcome back to your online class. Today, we will start with chapter number 6 of your supplementary reader, The Making of a Scientist, written by Robert W. Peterson. This lesson tells us about the story of famous scientist Richard Albright. In this lesson, we will discuss about his childhood, about the role of his mother, and the other important factors that proved vital in making him the world famous scientist. And dear students, for your convenience, I have divided the entire chapter into different subheadings. The first one is theory on how cells work. This particular theory, Richard Albright propounded at the age of just 22 years. And this new theory brought a revolution in the entire field of geology. Richard and his college roommate explained this theory in the famous journal of that time, Proceedings of the National Academy of Science. And it is for the first time in the history that such a prestigious journal had published the work of college students. So we get to know that just at a tender age, Richard Albright had stamped his authority. In the headings from here on, we will get to know what all factors contributed in developing him as a world famous scientist. The second subheading tells us about the fact that Richard was deeply interested in collecting butterflies. And right at the time when he was in kindergarten, when he was just a small kid, he had started collecting butterflies. And apart from that, his interests also lie in collecting rocks, fossils and coins. So one can make out that right from the early age, Richard Albright was very curious. He wanted to explore new things. He wanted to experiment with new things. He wanted to explore new ways. And later on, he also developed keen interest in astronomy. So apart from his interest, apart from his habit of collecting new things, his mother had an important role in developing him as a person and also instilling the dose of curiosity within him. So he got the much needed encouragement from his mother, as his mother took him on field trips. She bought telescope, microscopes, cameras, etc. That is indeed praiseworthy, that right from the time when he was just a kid, his mother channelized his energies in the right directions. She gave him those things to play that he could explore, and also she took him on field trips wherein he could derive experiential learning. It is also a well-known fact that the child learns both from heredity at the same time from his environment. So his mother ensured that right sort of environment is created at home and around Ebright, wherein he could develop himself completely. Richard Ebright's father died at the time when he was in 3rd grade. And from there on, his mother single-handedly brought him up and also ensured that he receives best of the education along with best of the moral values. She ensured that they spent evening together at dining table. And by the time Richard Ebright came in 2nd grade, he had collected almost all the 25 species of butterflies that were found in his hometown of Pennsylvania. After collecting 25 species, Richard Ebright seemed to be satisfied with his achievement. It is at this point of time that his mother further stretched his curiosity by buying a book titled Travels of Monarch X. This book tells us about the migration of butterflies from one place to another. As Richard Ebright was deeply interested in collecting butterflies, when he read this book, he found a new horizon opened up for him to explore and to carry out research on butterflies. So it opened the world of science for Richard. And then from here on he started tagging butterflies. So when he read Travels of Monarch X, then the readers were invited to help Dr. Frederick A. Urquhart in his study on the migration of butterflies. Then Ebright started raising a flock of butterflies in his basement area and often wrote a letter to Dr. Frederick Urquhart and getting engaged in the conversation and research work of migration of butterflies. In the 7th grade, he entered the county science fair and lost. At this time, he had achieved all the prizes that were there in the school level competitions. For the first time, he moved out and participated in a county science fair. And the very first experience was bitter. He lost. Though it was disheartening, but it also aroused his competitive spirit. And the next time he started carrying out intense research and also took up topics of larger interests, like the one that he picked to find out the cause of a viral disease that killed monarch caterpillars. This idea he presented in the next county science fair and he won it. Following year, he again carried out an intense research work over the fact that wisely butterflies do taste good to birds. Earlier it was believed that birds don't feed on wisely butterflies. But Ebright completely proved it wrong. And after 2 years in that county science fair, he proved and intensified research that gold spots present on monarch pupa produces hormones that is necessary for the butterfly's full growth and development. So dear students, in the part 1 of the making of a scientist, we have discussed about the childhood of Richard Ebrard, the role and contribution played by his mother, his interaction with Dr. Frederick, and how he started tagging butterflies, and later on how individually he started participating in county science fairs, wherein he experienced failures and success. So the life lessons that we have learned in part 1 is very clear, that environment plays a very crucial role in the development of a child, and parents' responsibility is to create that necessary environment. Second, child is to be left to discover and explore so that he could develop research tendencies right from the very beginning. Third, healthy competitions are important in one's life so that he could challenge no one else but yourself, as we have seen it in the case of Richard Ebrard. In the next part, we will be discussing about other factors that contributed in his success. Till then, goodbye.